everybody? We are back. Another episode of the Sports Clash. I'm Rich Arlio here with Chris Carey. Chris, how we doing, bud?
Good man, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Had a nice little Sunday. Um, Watched the Islander Rangers Stadium Series game. The Islanders had it in the bag pretty quickly and then completely blew it like they've done all year. Um, but that Mika Zibanejad game tying goal won me a good amount of money. So it worked out for me and my wallet. But other than that, the Islanders lost another crushing game in overtime. That's all they've done all year. So
Well,
disappointing.
well, well done. Well done. Let's give you a little round
Thanks.
of applause.
Thanks.
The
I
the the,
like,
the second Stadium Series game after you guys used the same ice that the Devils
yeah.
won on
Yeah,
the day
that's what happened.
before.
That's what
So
happened. They had the warm
let's
up
go
teams
Devs.
on and they ruined the ice. I mean, I don't even know
Warm up teams.
why you waste Devils Flyers on a
I don't know why
Stadium
you play
Series
any
game.
games in MetLife Stadium though, but you know
My
what? It
God,
is what it is.
awful, awful. What was that game? Devils won. Yeah, six
Yep,
three.
yep. Pride of
Mm,
New Jersey right there. They showed up wearing
good.
I think it was Rocky versus the Sopranos. The team showed up wearing different costumes. It was great.
They were parading Tommy DeVito around today. I don't know if you saw that, but I mean, for a third string quarterback, this guy is getting a lot of publicity,
That's
all because his
excellent.
name is Tommy DeVito and he plays in New Jersey.
Hey, if
But
we learned anything from Sanity, man, we love to raise people up for about 30 days and then who cares afterwards, right?
we do. We do. I mean, if you have no expectations and you do anything and people like you, boom, you're a hero in New York for as long as you can keep it up. That's
Yeah.
that's the truth. If a guy comes in and gets a big contract and has expectations and doesn't perform, then you're the devil in New York.
Run that asshole out of town, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it's been 2 weeks since our last episode. It's been tough to do these, but we're trying to do it at least two a month, um family and obligations and all that get in the way, but we're committed and we're gonna keep it rolling.
Hey, when
um
that family gets in the way.
Damn family, when what can you do? But we did not talk about the Super Bowl, and I know it seems like forever ago, even though it was last week. Yeah, it was not even, it was 7 days ago. It was literally last week. I literally, like, for a second I thought it was 2 weeks ago. That's how the sports cycle just goes, and once you're 3 days away from what just happened, it doesn't matter anymore. It's insane. But the Super Bowl happened, and you came over to my house, and we had a nice time. Had a fun little Super Bowl get together, and we watched my Kansas City Chiefs beat your San Francisco 49ers 25-22.
I was gonna say, get the we statement out of here. Use we had a good time. There was a moment of devastation too, where at the end there, I stood to make, four figures, right?
Yeah, we had some
And
boxes that were going to hit. But
yeah, I
so did
played
I. I was
one.
almost on the brink of rooting for the Niners to win at that point,
Sure, sure, right. But
but I
yes, you
wasn't.
had a great time. I was there for it. It was a lot of fun for you, and it was great to be a part of your winning evening. Yeah.
Thank
As
you.
far as I'm concerned, though, it was the stupid bowl. It was absolutely
Oh,
terrible.
how long you been
I'm
working on
very,
that one?
very upset with Kyle Shanahan, who continues to show that he is a just complete. It's like me in FIFA or Call of Duty or anything. Just mashes buttons at the end. Just this is gonna work. This is gonna work. It's not gonna work for you, Kyle Shanahan. You gotta maybe give up play calling in the big moments, something like that. But ooh, woof. I mean, 2 with the 49ers, the implosion as the offensive coordinator as the Falcons. Kyle Shanahan, I mean, you can get there, buddy, but getting over the hump has been a little bit difficult. So it was crushing for me to watch. Kudos to you. You won our podcast playoff, whatever you want to call it, uh, which I paid you out immediately, and then I think I went to bed as quickly as I possibly could. So Yeah, no, it was a great game though. Second overtime, or sorry, second Super Bowl that's ever gone to overtime. And funny that the first one also involved Kyle Shanahan as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can't pin it entirely on Shanahan. You could. You could. But I
I'm
mean,
gonna.
there were certain parts where, McCaffrey fumbled. Um, Purdy looked fine, but it was pretty evident that he wasn't going to do anything to win the game. So you had to give it to McCaffrey, and that's where Shanahan was failing in the biggest moment. They just weren't feeding their best players. And Debo, I was high on Debo in the game. I had a prop on him, his total receiving and rushing that didn't hit, and he did that thing where he gets hurt, leaves, and the Niners offense dies. And with that, I mean, that's when the Chiefs comeback started, and there was a moment where Mahomes ran for the first down, and you kind of could
That was
see
stupid.
you
Most
kind of
dumb.
could see he was like, all right, Mahomes is turning it on, and here we go. And I think you knew it, and I knew it. We all as we were watching, and I think we have to, as corny as it may sound, we have to take a step back and really appreciate what we're watching. I mean, this is a new dynasty. I mean, you might as well erase all the memories of the Patriots and what they did because it doesn't even hold a candle to what the Chiefs are doing right now. I
You
mean,
love it. You
this
love it. Look
is
at that smile.
this is a dynasty. This is a legitimate dynasty with a superstar quarterback who actually puts up numbers in the games and doesn't just manage the game to victory. Like he's the guy that you go to. Um, Mahomes is unbelievable. Arguably, at this point, the best quarterback in the history of the NFL. I mean, I'm ready to put him there. Let's do it. Because maybe one more Super Bowl, and I think we're there. Uh, he's unbelievable,
I
and I
hate
love
every second of this because this is exactly what I would have said before this game, before every standard, white guy with a beard said, I'm going to bet on Mahomes until Mahomes
it.
proves me otherwise. Yeah, you know what? I'll give you one of these right here because at the end of the day, I hate the fact that everybody who said that was correct because I don't believe that they actually were right. However, this is the argument that I would make prior to that game and prior to eating some humble pie here on the 49ers because I do believe he's the best player in the game. But to me, the argument of they have the best player on the field and we need to pick on who is the best player on the field to me doesn't hold any weight when it comes to football. Really, this is the 49ers lost it, right? My big bet on the Super Bowl was 49ers first half money line because
That
I
was
thought
yeah.
that the 49ers needed to go up early and needed to win from ahead early, and that's what they needed to do, and they
You're right.
couldn't do it. Players didn't know the overtime rules, again, falls back on Kyle Shanahan.
Why?
Why do we have different rules in the
Yeah.
postseason NFL? I
We didn't
seriously
know
do not
them.
fucking
We
get it.
we didn't know them. They talked about it. We were like, what? Really? Kind of
You have
crazy.
different rules for the playoffs as opposed to the regular season. That's to me, the NFL, you drop the ball right there. Right when you
No, it
change the
was the right
game,
move, though. It was the right move.
no.
That's the right rule for the
It
playoffs.
is, it should be. But when you are a slave to the TV markets and to the slots that you have games in during the regular season, to the point where you're gonna change the rules of the game because you have more time to broadcast the game in the playoffs, that's wrong. That's wrong. The rules should be this way. You should get equal possessions. You both should have an opportunity, but you cannot play the game one way and then one week just decide we're going to flip it and there's completely different rules to the fucking game. This is my problem with the NFL. And I just want to go back to the scramble of Pat Mahomes. If Greenlaw's in there, doesn't get hurt, getting so amped up for the game,
That
playing
was
middle
wild.
linebacker,
That
he's
was
in
wild.
there. He's in there. And
Yeah.
this was my thought process was you need to get Mahomes to scramble forward so that you can hit him. And they just didn't have the guys that were going to hit him on that play. Kelsey took the same ball right up the middle towards the end zone overtime. There were just holes that were there in the San Francisco defense that weren't because of the rules as well. But I give it kind of a 50-50 situation there where you're losing it, but you're also just you're kind of at a disadvantage because you're playing a completely different game at the end of the game too.
It's true. We could talk about this a little more. My thing is, I don't mind it because you look at the regular season a little different than you do the playoffs. Now for football, no,
Oh,
no, no. I get listen. Now for football, I understand your point. There's no reason why you can't just have it like that for every game. I'm thinking about baseball where you have a 162 game season and they'll do the extra inning, runner on second rule for the regular season, but for the postseason they don't have it, right? Like the postseason they do
because
the
it's wrong.
well, yeah, but there's an argument for it in baseball where you're playing 162 games, maybe wrap this one up a little quicker. I get it in that instance, but for the NFL, do you think it
No
should? Yeah,
integrity of the
you're so
game. Why are
stubborn.
you playing a completely different game just because it makes sense for the media markets? That's what I don't get.
But I
I
think
don't
there's
get
other
how as a
arguments.
player are you supposed to react and play different rules all of a sudden just because you have more time than you do at the regular season, just because you have this is the last game. There's no reason to play different rules. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. The Ghost Runners were stupid to begin with, and it was a COVID thing that just got held over, right?
Yeah,
This doesn't make any sense.
it should
This
just
is
be the
how an
rule.
NFL
Yeah,
game should be ended,
I agree.
right?
Yeah, I agree.
But
Yeah,
we have players that don't know the own rules to the game that they're professionals
but
in.
that's on them, and that's on, like you said, that's on Shanahan because the
It's
Chiefs knew.
definitely
The
on
Chiefs
Shanahan.
knew. Every Chief knew and was aware. Like
Maybe because they get this nice little assist and get there every single freaking year. Maybe that's
assist
why.
from who?
Maybe
Patrick
because they
Mahomes?
made the rules for
Mm.
the fucking Chiefs at this point.
Wasn't this rule for Josh Allen? This
Oh,
rule was basically to
touche.
help,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, I got you.
and
I
against the
got you.
Chiefs, and then it ended up hurting
Exactly. Who
Josh
was
Allen.
involved in the rule change? It was the damn Chiefs.
well, well, look, the bottom line is the Chiefs. The Chiefs are
I
champions
am
again.
I am a sore
Um,
loser.
yeah,
Congrats to you.
thank you,
Congrats to
thank
you.
you, thank
Right?
you.
Shanahan and Debo screwed me. Screwed me.
Well, the Super Bowl was fun. I know you didn't enjoy the outcome. We won a
Fun.
couple of bets, but for the most part, our props were just a complete mess. And so, something for our listeners, we recently teamed up with SoBet, a great sports betting app where there's so many just smart people on there. There's pros, there's handicappers on there, and I think we're fortunate enough to be on there making picks. We had a really nice football season, making picks, Chris especially, and we won this year, and now we were able to kind of to take a turn, parlay that into an opportunity of making picks on SoBet, and you can check it out for free. You go SoBet.io or download the app, and there's a free feed where some of these handicappers are sharing their picks, and it's a great community. We're happy to be a part of it, and we're making picks, and we're trying to share as many of our picks as we can. I think me and you were kind of in the realm of like which picks do we share? Should we just share everything we're making? Because there's losers in there for sure. We're trying to share the best picks that we possibly can. But a lot of these picks that we're like, oh, this is a bullshit throwaway pick, ends up a big parlay hit. So we'll talk. We got to figure out if we should just share everything and just see what happens. But they track your records. It's cool. It's exciting. It's even if I don't take one of your college basketball bets, I'm rooting for it hard and I'm into the game. And we had a nice Saturday. You had a nice Saturday on college. Um, Sunday, I think he went 1-2. All the underdogs are winning in college basketball right now. I think that's what the takeaway from a guy who doesn't watch much but has watched more the last couple of weeks since we've gotten into this, and is taking your advice, who somebody who actually watches the games and regularly wagers and has some knowledge. I'll say some, but I'm enjoying
Very
it.
limited
I'm in,
knowledge.
I'm enjoying it, and I think overall, we had a little win streak. We won Friday and Saturday. Today we went 1-2, but we're picking, and it's a weird time for us because football and baseball are our sports. Let's be honest. I'm excited for baseball season, and we are going to have so many picks. Hopefully, a lot of winners for the baseball season coming up, and then we'll get right back into it and dive into it really deep when the NFL comes around. But for now, we're working on our basketball picks. NBA was tough with the All Star break, but it's been fun. Are you enjoying it, Chris?
Hell yeah, man. I love college basketball. It's one of my favorite sports to watch because it's so unpredictable. But like you said, this is almost the Bermuda Triangle for you and I in terms of sports where we're, enjoying basketball season, but also gearing up for baseball season. But super fun to be part of that community. And like you said, we've had a couple of good runs here and we're looking to do more as well. So pretty cool to see our names up there with some of the people who are absolutely crushing it. We're crushing it too. Hopefully you're crushing it as well. But yeah, no, just kind of an exciting time. So lucky that our picks are making it out there for other people to utilize. We picked Maris the other day, which one? It was great. It's not just the Buckeyes on this podcast. We got another alumni association we're making happy as well. But yeah, no, crazy things happening in college basketball. This is the best part of the year, going up to Selection Sunday and March Madness as well. Buckeyes beat Purdue, obviously not pushing that pick to anybody. At the end of the day, it's been kind of
You
fun
should have taken it.
to see who's
I
showing out and who's not.
Yeah, you should have told me. I would have been like, let's put this one on SoBet because Purdue are frauds, and then they've been frauds from last year, and they're still frauds again. Zach Edey is just a tall guy who plays basketball.
This isn't going to age well. This isn't going to age
you
well.
so you
Purdue
you
is not frauds. Purdue is good.
are they? Because I'm not seeing it. I get they got what 3 losses now to a couple to unranked teams, right? I mean, they're a beatable team that in March, come the tournament, they're gonna have that bad day and then it's not gonna end well. Maybe they go a little deeper than they do last year. I'm not saying they lose to what happened last year? How'd they do?
Yeah, you know what? Virginia lost to a 16 seed. Guess what they did the next year? They returned everybody, just like Purdue did, and they went and they won the freaking national championship, man. So don't put the cart before the horse. Purdue is not fake. Purdue is not fake at all. Their losses, I mean, they lost to Northwestern, Nebraska, and Ohio State. Kind of random, but at the end of the day, those aren't games that they're getting up for. Wait for the tournament. They're getting up for those games, and they'll be completely fine as long as Zach Edey doesn't get into foul trouble.
But he usually always does.
No, he doesn't. He
I
doesn't. Just because you pick him
anytime I watch
one
this
year.
guy, man, it's just
They beat Marquette, they beat Tennessee, they beat Gonzaga, they beat Alabama, they beat Arizona. Holy crap, they beat everybody, man. And you're thinking that they're fake?
not
Like,
Ohio State.
they beat Illinois. Like, Arizona was number 1 when they beat him. Marquette was number 4. Tennessee was number 7. Gonzaga was number 11. Like, this team is wrecking shop, right? But I will get to my Marquette loss recently in a little bit because outside of Purdue, I think there's only one other really elite team in college basketball this year. That's
All right.
UConn.
Okay. Well, we'll hear that later. It's wild. I mean, right now you're at the NBA All-Star break. The All-Star game's going on as we record. I couldn't care less. I just checked the box
Wait,
score.
what's happening?
Yeah, exactly. I checked the box score because I wanted to see how Brunson was doing. He's missed a lot of shots. He's only got 3 points, so not doing great. Lillard's having a big Lillard and Halliburton. Halliburton will probably win MVP. I saw some of the pros on SoBet picking Halliburton as MVP. I picked him on the 3 point contest on Saturday, and he was destined to win. And then they had a 4-way tie. They had to do some kind of shoot off, and he lost that. I think he would have won if it just made it right to the finals. But what are you gonna do? Jalen Brunson had it too. He had it. He had 3 balls left. He just had to hit one of them to get to the finals, and he missed the three. And I was disappointed watching that because
Probably
I had him going to the finals. Um, But yeah, it's All-Star weekend.
I'm gonna
As
go ahead and say, man, look, the NBA All-Star game to me has fallen below the Pro Bowl.
the
Like
All-Star, well,
you're
not this Pro Bowl, the flag football Pro Bowl. At least they're playing
yes, the
basketball.
flag football, it has fallen below that point. Now the dunk contest, the 3-point contest, the Sabrina Ionescu, Steph Curry, the futures game or whatever with Wembanyama, the Rising Stars, I guess it was, all fantastic.
It's
Like
fun.
All-Star weekend for the NBA overall, phenomenal. Up there with MLB All-Star weekend. However, the game is one of the
Yeah.
worst all-star games in American sports. It's just gross watching them run up and sorry, not even run, jog up and down the court and huck up threes in front of 50 Cent and Spike Lee and all these Bill Murray, all these idiots who show up for every single all-star game. It is the worst all-star game out of any major sport. I'd rather watch the hockey all-star game.
The Eastern Conference team
How do you
at
watch it?
at halftime has shot 48 threes. They've attempted
Stupid.
48
It's
threes,
stupid.
and they've scored. It's 104 to 89 at halftime.
I I'd rather watch the McDonald's All-American game. I'd
Yeah,
rather
yeah,
watch the NCAA Women's All-Star game. I'd rather watch the Senior Bowl of college football. Any other All-Star game outside of this, it's terrible.
yeah.
It is horrible. It's a bad product where the rest of the weekend is fantastic.
Yes.
You gotta
All
figure
Star
something else out.
Saturday night is awesome. Uh
Right.
the dunk contest, I think I'll get to that a little later, but um overall, very fun night. Rivaling the home run derby, which is our favorite all-star event and can't be topped. But
Nothing rivals the home run derby.
it's a second. I'm not saying right, it's second to that as far as all-star weekend stuff.
I'll give you that. Distant second.
Sure. Fair enough. LFG. Nah, B.
Kind of a preseason prediction, and I'm sure that we'll do preseason baseball awards or whatever. But at the end of the day, I wanted to kind of talk to you about the MVP race that's going to come out of the American League here this year. The MVP race and the Rookie of the Year race. All right. So my hot take was going to be starting with the Rookie of the Year race. It's either Evan Carter or Jackson Holliday in the American League.
Is that your question to me? LFG or
That's my
Hobby?
question.
It's either Carter or Holiday.
Or Holliday for American League Rookie of the Year.
Um, Likely that's fair. I think I think those are probably the betting favorites right now. I think there's going to be some other guys who could potentially jump in there. One of them being Colt Keith of the Tigers, who has a lot of hype around him right now. Mashed in the minors, and they just signed him to an extension and are ready to have him be their starting second baseman. The Tigers have an intriguing young lineup now. I think they got some interesting pieces in there that Spencer Torkelson finally, after a rough go to his career, looked pretty good last year. I don't know if Keith and so Riley Green is a decent player if he's healthy. But it'll be interesting to watch them, and Cold Keith has a chance. Um, Evan Carter, look, we all saw what he did last year. He's already a World Series champion, and a big reason why the Rangers won that World Series. He's got the leg up. He's got speed. He's a solid hitter. The argument with him is, does he have enough power to be a true superstar outfielder? Some say it'll develop. I don't know. There's projections right now, and they're projecting him at 16 homers. Um, that's not huge. The Rangers themselves have a kid, Wyatt Langford, who's a huge power prospect, and while younger than Carter, could come up and do some damage this year if they want him to. So in the NL, I think we all know Yamamoto is the expected winner. But
I think it's going to be an import, regardless of the NFL. Unless it's Chirinos, it's going to be Yamamoto. It's going to be Lee. It's going to be Imaganama,
Yuki
whomever for the
Matsui,
Cubs.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Minaga, yeah. Um, for your question, LFG, I think Carter and Holiday, and I think Holiday is kind of your expected winner just because he's that all around guy. He still looks like he's 13. But like his body is big, but his face, I don't know, like maybe it's just the rosy cheeks. But he's built like his dad, who's a brick house, and I'm excited to see. Well, I'm excited to watch him. I'm scared of the Orioles. Like I hate to say it. Um, they're dealing with some injuries already, so long season, who knows? But LFG,
Peter.
your AL Rookie of the Year top candidates: Jackson Holliday and Evan Carter. Caveat: there's a couple guys that could ruin that.
Good
I know I said
caveat.
a lot. I
Nice.
know I said a lot there, but
Totally fine. My other one is it's Aaron Judge's MVP to lose.
let's fucking go, man. I mean, he might lose it to his own teammate Juan Soto. That's probably
Right.
the only other guy that's going to do it. No, I mean, there's obviously other incredible players in the MLB, but if Aaron Judge is healthy, it's his award to lose. He was on his way to winning it last year, but the Dodgers don't have a fucking right field wall. Maybe with Otani's bullshit $2 million a year contract that they have, they save some money and they could actually fix their right field. Um, but I digress. Aaron Judge is, when healthy, the best hitter in baseball, and he's going to play center field. I think a bit to start the year this year.
That's going to
They
be interesting.
he played a lot of it the year he broke the AL home run record. He seems comfortable out there. He's so big that his strides are so long that he covers so much ground that he kind of makes it look easy. Um, he's in his 30s now, and then he's a big guy. People think those kind of guys break down. Look at Stanton. I think he's a different type from Stanton, but you can't deny he's had his injuries. A lot of them are fluky. Some hit by pitches that bullshit and right. Uh, a diving catch, stretching, but it is what it is. It's his award to lose. You are 100% correct. It's going to be if
Uh,
Judge and Soto both stay healthy, that middle of the lineup's going to be fun. You could see Glaber have a big year around them. Um, they're banking on DJ LeMahieu to be their leadoff guy. He might be past his prime, but if he can get back to just doing what he does and just making solid contact, I think getting on base.
Huge bounce back candidate right there. Huge bounce back candidate right there.
Yeah.
I think, and to your point, the sports books agree, right? So, Judge is the heavy favorite for MVP, followed right behind by Juan Soto. Who do you think's third on the odds there, Mr. Arleo?
Uh, top of my head. Um, I didn't think of else.
Corey Seager, Jordan Alvarez,
Jordan was
Julio
going to be my guy.
Rodriguez, and
Yeah,
Kyle Tucker are the other
yeah,
favorites to round it out. But
yeah.
looking at that
Jordan
cast
was going to be my
of
guess.
characters, yeah. Yeah, Jordan is there. I mean, looking at that cast of characters, I kind of agree it's Judge's award to lose. Um, Being in the middle of that lineup, like you said, I think different body type than Giancarlo Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton's body type is built. Aaron's is just it's just genetic.
Yes.
So I think at the end of the day, it's easier for him to stay healthy because his body makes sense
Mhm.
on his frame. And as long as he can do what he's done, and not break down playing innings in center field, like you said, he's been the guy that he did it during his year that he went crazy on the home run record. So, yeah, I kind of agree, and I hate to admit it, but I kind of just wanted to hear you yell LFG. So
Thank you.
why I went
Yeah,
with that
but
one.
look, Otani's in the NL now, and that's if, but he's not pitching this year, so he's not going to run away with
Right.
the award again. Seager was, I think, second last year, and he's a fine candidate. Julio Rodriguez is the guy to look at because he's 23, had put up an unbelievable season last year, but he had a bad start to the season. It was
Right.
looking like he was going to be kind of that sophomore slump, kind of fall apart, but then he got it together and really put together a great line. He's got all the talent to do it. Um, Seattle themselves, I don't know. I don't really love what they did this offseason. They didn't really do much. They do have a core there that
Right.
can win, but
They brought back Mitch Haniger. That's about it.
yeah, yeah.
Let
So
go of Teoscar.
yeah, they who
About
they
it.
trade for. They did get somebody, but I don't think it was a big. I don't think it was a
Couldn't
big
tell
one.
you.
Yeah. Oh, Polanco, Jorge Polanco. Yeah.
Ew.
Nothing huge there. Decent infield hitter, but yeah, as I can go. Aaron Judge, give me another MVP. I got all this baseball. I got the baseball cards on the wall here. I'm invested in many ways. I love the man. He's just a joy to watch. So here's to a healthy year and an MVP season.
All right. That's all I got for LFG.
Love it. Thanks. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad. I mean, you could tell the host before the show so he knows. But yeah, it's fine.
Oops.
It's,
My
it's all
bad.
right. It's all right. We'll edit that in post. I'll ridicule you later. It
Gracias.
is time for the good, the bad, and the shitty. Everyone's favorite sports clash segment. Chris, why don't you kick us off? Who's your good?
Kick us off with a good. All right. Ooh, so much pressure. Good, bad, shitty. I have been in college basketball mode. So my good is going to the team that I watched beat my pick the other day, and it's going to the UConn men's basketball team. They are by far and away the best college basketball team I've watched play this year. Their manhandling of Marquette, 81 to 53 the other day under Danny Hurley was impressive. And while there's like 6 or 7 teams that I could pick this year, I'm high on Houston, high on Kansas, big on North Carolina, Tennessee, Auburn, even all the way down the standings. There's only one team that I actually think could probably compete at an NBA level at this point right now, and that's the UConn Huskies, the national champions from last year. Um, didn't give him enough credit, but they made Tyler Kolek the former or last year's Big East Player of the Year on Marquette look silly, like he wasn't in charge of anything the other day. And Danny Hurley really has the team clicking. It's kind of fun to watch UConn win again. I mean, back when I was younger, when we were younger, they had Emeka Okafor, Ray Allen, like all these big guys coming through, Kemba Walker, whatever. UConn's back on the men's side, and it's exciting to watch. So while I ate some crow, picking Marquette to cover 7.5 against them, boy howdy, it was fun to watch UConn just go ahead and turn on the Jets, and be a team that is worth watching. Any given game, completely worth watching. A lot of fun. Hate losing, but my good is going to be UConn because they are by far and away probably the favorites to win this whole thing, even though tournament basketball is a little bit different of an animal. But that's my good. Go Huskies. Woo!
I like it. I like it. I'll keep us going. Uh, I wanted to see if you would go in this direction, but you didn't, so I will take the torch.
I
Uh,
zagged when you zig.
my good is going to be women's basketball, and that's going to be
Hell
because
yeah.
of two women, Caitlin Clark setting the NCAA scoring record. Um, she's just been unbelievable. Anytime she's playing, look, if you're a sports fan, a big sports fan like us, you're entrenched in social media, you're following everything that's going on. You see when people are talking, and usually you just don't see it with women's basketball. But you see it anytime Caitlin Clark plays. And that is really cool. She can shoot the lights out. She's an unbelievable talent. And
Ridiculous.
she's just legitimately fun to watch. So congrats to her for setting the scoring record on a deep three. I mean, she did it in style too early on in the game. Really
Right.
impressive. And also wanted to mention Sabrina Ionescu, who went toe to toe with the greatest 3-point shooter of all time on Saturday night. And she shot the lights out from NBA three. There was a lot of questions about whether she was going to shoot from the WNBA line or whatever. Shot from the NBA 3-point line and looked just as good, if not better, than everybody else that was just in the 3-point contest. She lost to Steph because Steph Curry is Steph Curry, and he wasn't giving her anything. He did not give her a thing. She very could have easily beat him, but he just turned the lights
She
out.
showed up.
Yeah, she turned the lights. She had a higher score than a couple of guys in the 3-point contest just before her, but Steph just turned it on at the end and kind of shut her down. He didn't want to go out with the loss. He's Steph. It is what it is. But props to her. I mean, it opened the eyes of a couple of just incredible women athletes that are just plain flat out fun to watch. So pretty cool.
Hell
That
yeah.
yeah, that's my good. That's the good stuff. On to the bad. And my bad. It's gonna be a man by the name of Scott Boras. The MLB super agent, Scott Boras, has completely hijacked this MLB offseason, which is over. It's spring training. Pitchers and catchers have reported we're not really even in the offseason anymore. And yet, four of the biggest free agent names that were out there, save for Otani and Yamamoto, who are Boris clients, are still unsigned. Blake Snell, who won the NL Cy Young last year, Jordan Montgomery, who was a key piece in the Rangers World Series and is going to get big money also. Matt Chapman, a very good third baseman, and
A
Cody,
soft-spoken Matt Chapman.
yes, and Cody Bellinger, who is coming off comeback player of the year season. Like, just he was unbelievable in a 1-year deal, prove it deal for the Cubs last year. Still sitting out there. And it's bullshit, frankly. And it's so bad that it got me to agree with Rob Manfred over the weekend that baseball needs. And I know. I felt weird. It was weird. Uh,
Never agree with Manfred.
I
Never.
it's it didn't feel right, but he said the MLB needs a true offseason with a deadline for transactions. I never really thought that way because, frankly, they never needed it because things would get done at the winter meetings. Now, I think he's right, and I think there has to be a deadline so that Boris can't have this much control and hold the free agent market. Chris, I see you. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I need to counterpoint this. No, 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 no. No,
No, no, no.
Scott Boras is completely holding out for the domestic market of players. This is on the MLB teams for investing way too much time and attention into what's happening overseas, to peeking over the fence and saying, wait, 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 what could have been, including an Eric Fetty, who comes from the Korean baseball world back to America and gets signed by the White Sox instead of a Blake Snell. This is Boras doing right by his clients, and I will defend Scott Boras for once. For once. And this is the one and only time, but it's because of all the imports and all the shiny objects overseas that I think Mr. Cohen, Mr. Cashman, and whoever the hell is running the Dodgers organization, Magic Johnson at this point, have been kind of coveting over who's actually in the major leagues and producing right now. So while the Yankees might be pissed about it, kind of love it because these guys are difference makers and they're going to go to teams that are willing to spend what they are worth finally, I think.
What is Blake Snell
So
worth? look
Blake
at Blake
Snell's a
Snell.
two-time Cy Young winner.
I understand
How
that.
many Cy Youngs has Yamamoto?
Look at the rest of his body of work, and tell me that
How many Cy Youngs has Yamamoto won?
none, but he's won.
About a Maganagama on the Cubs? What about that guy?
Well, there's an
What
actual
about Strowman?
but there's also a deadline to get these guys signed. That's a reason that these guys are already signed. There's a
There's
posting
no
deadline
deadline.
that
They could
this.
come in at any point. They could come in at any point and contribute to the teams. That's what I don't get.
I'm
I
saying the
they
Japanese
hold
players.
out for their value.
There's a posting deadline for them where they have to once they're posted, they have to sign within this 2 or 3 week period, or else they are back with their teams in Japan. So that's why a lot of those
Just
guys,
wait
I
for
think,
Hideki
got signed.
Arabu to happen, right? Just wait for one of these
It's
guys like
happened, and it's gonna
Not
happen.
Daisuke,
Nice.
and they're gonna fail. And then you're gonna
Kayagawa with the
regret
Yankees.
not
Yeah.
going out and getting a Blake Snell.
Uh, I
Who
I
was the
see.
outfielder for the Red Sox? They spent a ridiculous amount of money trying to get that outfielder from Japan on the Red Sox this past year. What did he do? It's, it was
I
terrible.
think he actually had a pretty good season.
He was okay. He was okay. Was he worth the amount of money they put up for him? No.
Well, the Red Sox are
No.
not putting up money for anybody, really. So I mean,
I think this is good for baseball. I think this is good for baseball. I think baseball needs to learn a lesson that what you have right here, right now, is not always as good as what could be from the Japanese or Asian markets or the Caribbean, Dominican, Venezuelan, whatever markets out there. So, but anywho,
I
my team doesn't go after Boris clients. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, your team doesn't
you know,
sign
we're not even
anybody.
contention.
Team just signed.
No, we suck.
Team sucks for 10 years and just has all the best young players, and now you're reaping the rewards.
That's
So
what we do.
you did go out and get Burns via trade. Still no free agent signings, but that's a way to get it
Will
done.
we be able to sign him? Probably not. Well, let's go right into my bad then. My bad is Kyle Bradish, your boy. I am very sad about Kyle Bradish starting the year on the IL, UCL, tear, strain, whatever it is, something in the elbow. The reason for him being my bad, though, is not because it sucks. It's by chance you get an elbow injury, right? You throw too many sliders, you throw too many splitters, whatever. But opting for the rest and recovery rather than going straight for the surgery upsets me because nobody rests their UCL outside of Daisuke Matsuzaka and ends up being as effective as they should be with
Masahiro
like a
Tanaka.
partially torn Tanaka too. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, that's a good example as well. But the rest and
Was
recovery thing, put Bradish under the knife. Put him under the knife right now, please. Let's get him back as quickly as we can. That guy is incredible, but I mean, you have him in Dynasty. His spin rate is one of the biggest things that makes him valuable, and I think that's really what we're seeing with young kids' elbows is throwing too many sliders, throwing too many breaking pitches. And at the end of the day, I think Bradish was poised for a huge year. Thankfully, they catch an injury like this, but the rest and recovery, as opposed to the Tommy John, just doesn't really bode well for us. And thankfully, we get Means back and bring in Corbin Burns, but was hoping
Means.
Bradish would be a huge contributor here. And we'll see. We'll see if he comes back this year. I'm betting that he gets to June not seeing progress, resting and recovering, and all of a sudden he needs Tommy John surgery, and we lose that on next year with him as well. So um, that's my bad. I don't think that there is a better option than going for Tommy John surgery when your UCL is torn, strained, whatever it is, and it's just poor timing for my small market team that doesn't negotiate with Scott Boras. So
That's why you don't
Kyle
like
Brad,
Boras.
it's my bad. Oh, I hate Boras.
Yeah. All right, keep us rolling. Here's your shitty.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
My shitty. So super excited about the Tiger Woods Sunday Red brand coming out. I think it's super cool. 15 stripes on the Tiger. We're gonna go ahead and have this non kind of Nike Tiger brand or whatever. But man, I really just don't want to see Tiger withdraw from another tournament again in his life. You know, people flooding the books when he decides he's going to play in the Genesis. Goes one over. All of a sudden, he's dealing with back spasms and Tiger's withdrawing again. It's upsetting to me to see somebody of his stature constantly go through this, but it's also upsetting to me to see him show up and be like, "Hey, yeah, I'm gonna play." Right, the Genesis, something that people have seen him win over and over at the Riviera in LA, withdrawing after 2 rounds or a round and a half, whatever it was. I'm just sad to see that, and I think it's kind of shitty that he keeps doing this. Like, you know what? If you're gonna lose, you're gonna lose. If you have health issues, don't enter. Right. But the withdrawal of Tiger Woods from major golf tournaments, I'm just tired of seeing. And to me, that earns me my shitty for doing it again this year here at the Genesis.
I think he's done. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it might have been a publicity stunt for him to come back for a second. Him and his kid Charlie are crushing it on these pro-ams, but if you're gonna enter, you should enter to win. And I just I've never had back spasms, but they keep creeping up whenever he's not doing well.
yeah,
To
yeah,
me, that just
yeah.
where there's smoke, there's fire.
I think Tiger's trying to. He's 48. I think he's trying to make it up to when Charlie starts to play in the tour, and at that point, Tiger will be in his 50s and he can play the senior tour. Go to the senior tour. Tiger can still play. It'll be a draw. And you'll also have Charlie in there. So Tiger's not going anywhere, but his days of competing in tournaments are, I think, over.
I agree,
Sad.
and they should
Sad.
be. It's a tease. It's a
Yeah.
tease.
Hate a good tease. All right. I'll wrap us up. My shitty, and I hate to do this, I really do, but my shitty's going to the dunk contest, and
Wow,
it's not because of the cliche reasons of like, oh, the dunk contest ain't what it used to be. It ain't
it's
what it
not
used to
though.
be, but the judging was really weird last night. They're just trying to make too many things happen that just aren't exciting. And look, I know it's 2024. We've been watching people dunk for a long time. Watching somebody dunk over Shaq just isn't impressive anymore. And that was all they were doing last night. They were just every dunk was, hey, here's a tall guy, watch me jump over him. And it was weird. Jacob Toppin of the Knicks, and call me biased, but I think he had one of the coolest dunks of the night. It was like a reverse 360 throwdown that I just it was a classic, like powerful dunk that you like to see. And those are the dunks that like used to win the dunk contest. And then that got a low score, like a 47. It just wasn't enough to make it to the finals. And it was just weird. It was disappointing. Mac McClung's story isn't really cool anymore. It is what it is. Um, they gotta figure something out. And the easy answer is, hey, maybe the best players and the best dunkers should actually be in it again. But if that's not gonna happen, try something else because this whatever we're doing, it's just not exciting. It's the 3-point contest is the better kind of event
Agreed.
right now. It's more fun, more competitive. You're seeing the best shooters shoot. You're not seeing the best players dunk. You might be seeing some great dunkers dunk, but it's just not. It ain't it anymore, and they got to figure it out. It's shitty. It's a shitty.
I agree. I completely agree. And, that's why you said, the All-Star weekend, that Saturday is fantastic. To me, I didn't tune in until it was the 3-point contest
Yeah.
and even the Sabrina and Steph thing. So the dunk contest it has been and is lost on me these days. You get a G League player winning it 2 years in a row. I don't even get to watch that guy play. So,
Yeah. I don't really care.
while I
Like,
know Mac McClung from Texas Tech and Instagram,
yeah.
I'd rather see him
Have a G League
on
contest.
Instagram.
Have a G League
Yeah.
dunk contest, and then have the NBA one. Chris, thanks, bud. Thanks everybody for listening. Catch us, like Chris said, on SoBet. sportsclash.com, YouTube, the Sports Clash, Twitter, TikTok, all those good stuff. Thanks, everybody. Good night.